As the Season 1 endgame draws near, the writers are continuing to skillfully weave the various plot lines together, setting the stage for what feels destined to be an unforgettable, emotionally charged, and relentlessly tense conclusion. Course Correction is a strong episode, but I must admit that I find it to be a bit of a mixed bag. It continues to take bold narrative swings while also undercutting an incredible twist before it had a chance to really evolve into anything interesting. I'm a monster too, remember? Dexter and his new posse of serial killers, along with one serial killer groupie, are taken to an opulent castle right after the shocking conclusion of episode 6. As grandiose as this backdrop is, the festivities planned by Prater are tainted slightly by the ominous incidents that have befallen Lowell and Mia. Needless to say, tensions are running high and Dexter knows he will soon become the lead suspect if he doesn't act fast. In spite of the prevailing pressures, Dexter is also required to present to the group, and the issue of keeping his cover becomes even more complicated. Michael C. Hall's outrageous impersonation of Red in front of a mirror is hilarious and purposefully forced. It's a calculated risk that could backfire if Prater sees through the facade. Harry intervenes to point out the inauthenticity and encourage Dexter not to sully himself by trying to fit in with the monsters in the group. What follows is an internal struggle between who Dexter is and what his father wanted him to be, a clash that opens old wounds and harkens back to the show's early years when Dexter first learned the horrific truth about Harry's death. The conflict and guidance that Harry represents in Dexter's mind is more thematically appropriate than ever, and it ultimately plays right into one of the season's strongest themes, the power of being true to oneself. The truth is never boring. In the wake of Dexter, New Blood, it's no surprise that Dexter would have to deal with the consequences of his actions in Iron Lake and the influence he had on Harrison. This exchange further highlights how brilliant it was to bring Harry back into the fold for Resurrection. As we learn more about Resurrection, I contend that those teachings have been masterfully adapted into a larger theme that runs the entire season, or possibly the entire series. The force of the truth itself is incalculable. We have witnessed him repeatedly this season adopt a radically different stance toward the truth, and the outcomes have been shockingly favorable for a man whose survival has previously relied on lies and deceit. Whether it's accepting his actual character or telling Harrison the complete truth about his responsibility in Rita's death, there's no doubting that Dexter is starting to appreciate the benefits of being candid, in certain contexts. In episode 7, the ramifications of that lesson are felt many times but in very different ways. After admitting that he finds it difficult to understand the thoughts of a vicious murderer, Dexter reflects once more on the idea that sometimes the best course of action is to be veiledly honest. Instead of completely assuming Red's role, he discusses his internalized bond with the dark passenger, about giving up control to his darkness, about having to conceal his actual self all the time, and about the deep anguish he experiences after the kill is over and he must put the mask back on. Prater reacts differently from the other murderers in the room, who find it unorthodox and a little lackluster. He feels compelled to open up to Dexter on a more personal level because he is moved by his genuineness and vulnerability. Once more, the secret to advancing his goal within Prater's group is honesty. More significantly, it finally offers us our first taste of the actual Leon Prater, a mystery we have been anxiously waiting to unroll since episode 4. He delivers an engaging tale that, like some of the best villains, makes me wonder his sincerity and genuine objectives. He discloses that his parents' deaths were ultimately caused by a serial killer, and that he developed a close relationship with the murderer while visiting him in jail in spite of all the odds. The question now is whether or if that preoccupation turned him into someone deserving of Dexter's kill table, as odd as that sounds. As Dexter shifts his emphasis to his second issue, Gareth No. 2, the prying effect of the truth is undoubtedly not lost on him, even though the verdict is still out on that one. I'll never get used to killing in front of an audience. Dexter has just one option as tensions and suspicion grow inside the group: figure out how to deflect suspicion before it costs him everything. He uses the facts once more to try to solve the issue by luring Gareth into a deadly altercation. Dexter uses a broken wine glass to turn the tables on him after disclosing the truth about his twin's death. In all honesty, the whole confrontation between Dexter and Gareth is thrilling, but I couldn't help but feel disappointed as I saw Gareth's promise as a villain vanish before my very eyes. Admittedly, I had placed a lot of faith in the idea that Gareth would develop into a significant antagonist after Season 1. Indeed, the shocking revelation at the conclusion of episode 6 that Dexter had murdered his twin brother seemed like the ideal pretext for a plot like that. It seemed like the season's first big blunder to me to see that possible future dashed before the twist had a chance to develop into anything genuinely significant. Nevertheless, the ploy was well planned and a practical means of diverting Prater and the others from his trail. I found it hard to keep that disappointment for very long because it felt like a classic Dexter trick. Dexter's newfound understanding of the value of utilizing truth as a tool made me grin, even though I was a little disappointed at the time. It got him out of 2 difficult circumstances in this episode alone, and it has helped him regain his effectiveness as a murderer and mend his broken friendship with Harrison throughout the season. It's an intriguing yet surprising idea that has never been discussed in this series before, but as the conclusion draws near, I can't help but question if that good fortune is doomed to fail.